am too.
Good morning. Thank you for attending our webinar, A Patient's Journey. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into Ingersoll Rand's Precision and Science Technologies division and highlight some devices that a patient may experience during their journey. My name is Britt Faulkner, and I work at the Thomas Design Center based in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. I've been employed at Thomas for 5 years now and currently work in the Application Engineering Department. I have a bachelor's and master's in bioengineering, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Andrew Jupin.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Jupin. I'm an area sales manager for the West Coast for the Thomas product line. I have 10 years of experience in this industry, 7 of which with Thomas, and a few years before that selling pneumatic valves. I have my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and I'm based out of my home office in San Diego, California. Sorry, trying to adjust a little echo there. In March of this year, in 2020, Gardner Denver merged with Ingersoll Rand. Our Gardner Denver Medical Group was then put under the Ingersoll Rand Precision and Science Technology Group. Our medical division maintains our same 5 key brands: Thomas, Welch, Tricontinent, Zinser Analytical, and ILS. Thomas, again where Brett and I work, is the largest of the 5. It has been providing medical device OEM suppliers with mission-critical hydraulic and pneumatic needs for over 60 years now. Our Welch vacuum pumps are products that are found in aspirators, vacuum filtration, and distillation devices. Tricontinent syringe pumps provide low flow and low pulsation solutions in medical and biotechnology diagnostic and analytics equipment. Zinser Analytics provides customized laboratory automation equipped with complementary software and consumables. And lastly, our ILS brand is a global supplier of high-quality glass syringes for use in syringe pumps, auto samplers, diluters, dispensers, and other liquid handling instruments. Our 5 brands maintain 900 employees globally. And as you can see from this slide, we have a large global footprint. We have manufacturing across the globe in Asia, North America, and Europe. Our headquarters just outside of Munich, Germany, and we have sales and engineering located throughout the world to support all of our customer base.
With a wide range of pressure, vacuum, and liquid technologies, Thomas offers the broadest oilless product range in the industry. We offer gas pumps like the wobble and diaphragm technology that are used in applications that require high pressure or high flow capability, such as oxygen concentrators or patient monitoring. Liquid pumps, such as our peristaltic portfolio, are able to transport viscous fluids and have multiple tubing options available as the only wetted component. Liquid pumps are used in IVD applications frequently as waste removal pumps. Tricontinent, ILS, and Zinser provide products that meet precision fluid technology solutions, and they're able to provide high precision and accuracy at low flow rates. Although today we will be discussing the patient's journey, which is specific to medical applications, Thomas serves customers in laboratory, environmental, industrial, food and beverage, printing, and many other markets. At Thomas, we're able to provide customized solutions depending on what requirements our customer has, and we pride ourselves in working in conjunction with our customers to provide the best solution for you.
As Britt said, we're zooming in on our patient's journey today. We're going to look at each point in the patient's journey where they may come in contact with a product that has a Thomas Welch tricontinent Zinser or ILS device embedded within it. We'll start at the hospital, where our gas pumps are used in things like oxygen concentrators and hospital beds. We'll move into monitoring, where our liquid and gas pumps are used in hemodialysis and blood gas monitoring. Then down to diagnostics, where our liquid pumps are used in diagnostic labs, IVD, chromatography, and gene sequencing. Following on to our pharmaceuticals and biotech customers that use our liquid handling systems in drug discovery, chemical analysis, and many others. And finally, we'll follow the patient home, where we see both our liquid and gas pumps used in things like negative wound treatment as well as deep vein thrombosis. But now we'll start off with the hospital and see where our products are used within those products.
So patients suffering from acute respiratory distress are oftentimes placed on mechanical ventilators, and ventilators are positive pressure devices that supply air with increased rates of oxygen into the lungs. Ventilators are typically equipped with a humidifier that will add heat and moisture to the air to match a patient's body temperature. And the ventilator's air supply is going to mimic properly functioning lungs, inflating and deflating as necessary. And typically when Thomas is designed into ventilator applications, the Nexus platform is selected, which is the wobble piston pump shown on the right-hand side of the screen, and can include the 2600 series and 2700 series wobble piston pumps.
Britt, where do ventilators generally get their air supply from?
So ventilators can get their air supply from a compressed air system, which can be like the centralized hospital air system, or it can be a regulated air source, such as a blower or a compressor.
When is a compressor selected compared to a blower? And when it is a compressor, which one of ours is generally used?
So a compressor is selected when a ventilator is going to require a low flow of gas, and it's going to be supplying that pressurized oxygen to a storage container. And as you can see on the slide, there's a green and gray oxygen tank where the air is going to be stored at. And typically, when your compressor is used in a ventilator, it is seen in an ICU environment because they typically consume more power and are heavier, bulkier machines. And whenever we are designing in our wobble pumps into ventilators, we usually select our, like I mentioned a minute ago, our Nexus series, which can be our 2650 pumps, our 2750, 2755 pumps. So moving on to another application that a patient may experience in a hospital environment is a hospital bed. So patients who spend prolonged periods of time in a hospital, they are more prone to developing uncomfortable bed sores. So one way to counteract this is by using medical air mattresses, and that's basically a bed that consists of cells that will slowly inflate and deflate depending on the selected program. And it can simulate body movement, and that increase of blood flow can help prevent bed sores. Another purpose that a hospital bed can serve is that the air chambers can be inflated laterally, and that can help to actually turn a patient over.
And when selecting a pump for this application, which one is generally chosen, and do you have different motor options available?
Yeah, so the pump on the right-hand side is a linear pump. So with a linear compressor, they are known for having low sound levels, so it's not going to disturb a patient that is trying to recover and that is going to be in a hospital for a prolonged period of time. They are efficient pumps. Typically, they will run for well over 10,000 hours without needing servicing or any kind of maintenancing. And we offer both AC and DC motor options standard.
Thanks, Britt. And now moving on to our monitoring systems. Thomas products have been used in several different devices, such as patient monitors, anesthesia systems, capnography monitoring, pulse oximeters, remote monitoring, and many more. These pumps are chosen because of our durability, reliability, and easy-to-use technology.
Hi, so looking at a capnography device for one of our first of the monitoring sections, capnography devices measure and track changes in oxygen levels, and they can aid in signaling respiratory disease or failure. Typically, a capnography device is used during and post-surgery. And if you take a look at the slide, you can see that there's a small diaphragm pump that's able to be directly mounted on the printed circuit board. And that pump is going to be pulling in a sample from a patient's exhale, and that sample is going to be pulled over a sensor for an analysis. And that analysis is going to tell us the gases present and the concentration of the gases.
So I see this small pump here. Are there other options like that that could also be used in this application? And what kind of pump is that?
Correct. This is a 2002 gas diaphragm pump. So in an application like this where a clean sample is required, which means there's no outside contamination, you would require a diaphragm pump opposed to another technology because there is a sealed air path. That hermetic seal is going to ensure that the sample is not compromised. This 2002 pump is also equipped with a brushless DC motor. So with a brushless DC motor, you're going to experience longer life. And this diaphragm pump, too, is service-free. It is a cost-effective solution. And, yeah, there's several different motor options available and different elastomers as well. So moving to the hematology monitoring. So hematology tests include tests on the blood, blood-producing organs, or blood proteins. This is a multi-pump system. If you're looking at the two pumps on the right-hand side, the one on the left is the C3000 pump, and it is a tricontinent syringe pump. And on the right-hand side, you can see a 2660, and that is a Thomas gas piston pump. So the C3000 serves as the heart of the instrument, able to sample different fluids. But the 2660 is going to be used in a vacuum application. It is connected to a waste bottle via tubing, and it will apply a vacuum to transport the fluid, to the waste canister. And in this application, I just want to point out, it was very important that these pumps were able to run continuously, and also the noise and vibration, it need to be attenuated.
How did we address those vibration and noise issues with this application?
So tricontinent products, they are not going to be prone to vibration quite the same as the large die-casted products as you see the wobble pump on the right-hand side. So vibration was reduced by the configuration. It is an out-of-phase configuration, which means the forces are loaded equal and opposite to counteract one another. And our engineering team worked to design a free-flow muffler that was specifically created to reduce noise further. And just wanted to point out, this is a low-maintenance solution because the C3000 pump can run for millions of cycles and not meet end of life, and the 2660 can run for thousands of hours, too, without maintenancing.
And as these products move into the future, what are some of the things that Thomas is doing to help innovate and help our new product development?
Yeah, so originally a 2660 was designed in for one of the initial generations of a hematology monitoring device, but with advancements in technology, we were able to then start to build in a 2380, which is a smaller wobble pump, and that had a BLDC motor, so a brushless motor, which will extend the lifetime. It has performance variability as well. You can control how fast or how slow the motor is going to be operated. And this motor was really interesting because it had a built-in controller wire that was integrated into the motor that would automatically compensate for higher altitudes. So at higher altitudes where the air is more thin and the performance, the flow will decrease, the motor will automatically speed up to counteract that, to make sure there are not performance losses, so the system is still able to operate properly.
Okay, great. Next, we will move along in the patient's journey, and we will see how our pumps are used in both diagnostic and pharma biotech industries. Both our liquid pumps and liquid handling systems have been used with great success in each of these devices.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this schematic, and it's going to show various pneumatic and hydraulic roles that are within an in vitro diagnostic device. So looking at the first marker, you can see there's a tri-continent C3000 syringe pump, and there's also ILS syringes. So with the C3000 syringe pump, this is a very efficient syringe pump that has a stepper motor designed in as a standard component. And the syringes that you see can range from 50 microliters to 12.5 milliliters. And this pump is going to be used for sample aliquoting, so it can take a large reservoir, a large sample size, and it's able to then to distribute that in smaller volumes. Moving to the second area is the needle cleaning pump. So whenever you are considering a needle cleaning pump, because of such a small orifice, high pressure capability is required. So a 6311 liquid diaphragm pump would be selected because it's able to operate at pressures up to 4 bar. For the reagent dosing pumps, oftentimes we'll use a peristaltic pumps. And peristaltic pumps are great because there's only one wetted part or one component that comes in contact with the media that's being pumped. So in the instance that certain media, once it pumped through the system, that the tubing need to be disposed, it's a very easy system to change out. It just has an interlocking head, clip retention system, and you can easily change the tubing depending on the media. We also offer liquid diaphragm pumps, which are self-priming, so they do not need to be filled with fluid before operating. They can be initially ran dry. So they're able to provide, to apply a vacuum to a waste pump, and then that vacuum is going to facilitate the liquid to be moving into that canister. And lastly, just to point out the rotary shear valves, the rotary shear valves have been benchmarked against competitors within the industry, and they offer up to 24 times the life of competing valve technology.
Wow, that's great about the lifetime of those valves. But when you're looking at valves, what are some of the other things that sets the rotary shear valves apart from the rest?
Well, when you're dealing with ceramic valves, depending on the media being pumped, there can be issues with chemical compatibility that can result in the valve seizing. And also with solenoid valve technologies, there can be limitations because whenever the valve is turned on or off, a lot of times liquid can leak from that interface. And with that leaking and clogging that could occur, you can see contamination. You can see leaking within your system, which of course is not, is not required or not ideal. So next, we're going to look at a next generation gene sequencing system, and this is a new market that we are looking at. We're currently developing a next generation ultra high throughput sequencing to help drive personalized medicine and treatment. And currently we have a C3000 multi-channel syringe pump that's designed into one of these systems. These multi-channel pumps can come in various sizes. They can be 4-channel, 6-channel, or 8-channel configurations. And the syringe volume can range from 50 microliters up to 5 milliliters for these. And whenever you see a multi-channel C3000 system, the rotary valve technology we just discussed with the high reliability, it is designed in as a standard component in the multi-channel systems.
That's great. So what are some of the other functions of the C3000 multi-channel pump?
So in this instance, the C3000 can be used for sample handling, it can be used to transport reagents, and it can be used to remove waste.
And are there any other tricontinent pumps that could be used in a similar way?
Yeah, Tricontinent also offers the AirZ pump. This is an air displacement pump, and we've seen it used frequently in library preparation applications. So this is one of the most interesting slides to me. This is a drug discovery automation system, and this uses a one-team approach. So Zinsser Analytic, they design and manufacture these large automated systems. And within this system, you can see products from Thomas, Tricontinent, ILS, and Welsh. So you have a Thomas liquid diaphragm pump that is equipped with a BLDC motor. So it's a long-lasting liquid diaphragm pump. We have the Tricontinent C3000 pump that's able to last millions of cycles. We have a Welch vacuum pump that's able to apply a deep vacuum. And we have the ILS syringe availability with the size ranges from 50 microliters to 12.5 milliliters.
So if I were to pursue Zinsser to help me build one of these lab automation devices, what are the main things that I need to consider when I approach them with this project?
Reliability is definitely the biggest consideration, and that is why the C3000 technology was selected because, as mentioned, it can last millions of cycles. And then with the rotary shear valve technology, it's been live tested against competitors, and when a competitor can last several hundred thousands of cycles, we can last up to 24 times that. And they're designed for continuous operation. And the C3000 is also using a high-efficiency step motor. And the other thing to consider is accuracy and precision. It's very critical in these systems. Repeatability is necessary. So accuracy when dealing with the Tricontinent products, a rule of thumb is accuracy is better than 1%, but precision is better than 0.5%. And depending on the specific model, that number can vary slightly, but if you look on the website, Tricontinent's website, the data sheet will have that specific value depending on which product you're looking at. So moving to nitrogen generators, we included nitrogen generators because there is a huge impact that they have on being able to operate certain systems within the hospital, like gas chromatography systems, mass spectroscopy, thermal analyzers. And nitrogen generators are designed to meet specific analytical instrument gas and purity flow requirements. So it's really important that the pump that is designed into a nitrogen generator is able to provide a constant flow of gas with minimal degradation. So a wobble pump was selected because wobble pumps routinely are provided with service kits. And once you install a new service kit, you can extend the life of your compressor and have the same performance as you did initially.
And why have we seen this big move from our customers that are moving from the conventional tank systems to nitrogen generators that use our pumps?
Well, one reason is when you're using a nitrogen generator, the laboratory can be supplied with a constant guaranteed source of nitrogen gas. It's safer to use nitrogen generators as well. You're not dealing with high pressure gas cylinders, which of course can be very dangerous. The nitrogen produced in these nitrogen generators, they're produced at controlled low pressure, so it's much safer and it's more economical because the end user is going to get a quick return on their investment. There's no gas cylinder rentals required. There's no price inflation that you can definitely see within this market. And historically, Thomas has been able to support the nitrogen generator manufacturers with, the 2380 pump, with diaphragm pumps as well, and rotary vane technology.
So lastly, along the patient's journey is what I'm assuming is their favorite part, the part where they get to go home. Thomas products are found in many home therapeutic products using both our liquid and gas technologies.
Yeah, so oxygen concentrators are used today to treat patients who suffer from respiratory diseases. And an oxygen concentrator is able to basically boost ambient oxygen, which is at a concentration of 21% to around 85 to 90%. So with this, the oxygen supply helps patients rehab, and it helps them improve their lung capacity.
So I didn't realize there was multiple sizes of oxygen concentrators and that they could even go home. Can you go through the different sizes and what pumps are generally used in them?
Yeah, so the three classifications that we commonly hear and use are portable, transportable, and stationary. So portable is like a backpack or a fanny pack style. Transportable is like you see in the image. It's like a luggage style. It's more it's less mobile than a backpack. It does have wheels, but you're still able to transport it. It's small. It's still relatively convenient. And then you have stationary, which are the traditional oxygen concentrators that we thought of from decades ago, with the independent tank, and it's more arduous to kind of lug around. And depending on the size, that will help us determine which pump technology is going to be used. So of course, the more flow rate, the higher flow that's required, you need a pump that's able to provide higher flow rates. So when we're looking at a 10-liter option, we would look at the Nexus series, like the 2660, which is on the right-hand side and can be about 15 to 17 kilograms. It's pretty heavy and about 9 to 10 inches long at the max. And when we go down to the smaller, around the 2 to 3 liter ranges, you would see like a 2110, which is the smaller compressor on the left-hand side, or a 2220 pump, or maybe a 2250. It really depends on the flow rates required.
Great, okay. And then when I start designing my new concentrator, are there any sort of agency approval that Thomas can help support get through?
Yes, definitely. So the specific requirement is going to vary pump to pump, and it's going to be dependent on the end market. But we do have a domestic engineering group here that's well-versed in all agency requirements. We have a UL agency testing laboratory here at the Thomas Design Center in Wisconsin. We're able to fulfill any agency testing requirements directly. So that does help streamline the process. So moving to negative pressure wound therapy, this therapy is applied to acute, post-operative, and chronic wounds, but can also be used in single-use applications. So negative pressure wound therapy is going to promote wound healing, and it does that by increasing the blood supply. So you can see the devices on the upper section, and a dressing is going to be applied to a wound. There's typically a small diaphragm pump, as you can see below the devices. A small diaphragm pump is going to be internal to the negative pressure wound therapy device, and that's going to be applying a vacuum, a constant vacuum, and that's going to facilitate increased blood flow, and that will help increase your wound healing time as well. So previously, the 3014 diaphragm pump was used in this application, and that's the pump on the left-hand side with the all-black housing. It was used previously, but due to different developments over the last several years, our team has worked really hard to reduce the size and weight by 80%. And you can see the newest addition to our diaphragm family is the white pump that's almost hidden behind the 1-cent coin. So that's our 1008 pump. That's our slim pump, and we're really excited about the new applications that we're going to be able to penetrate with this pump.
Yeah, that's tiny. That's a really small pump. I know there's a lot of competition out there for these sort of applications. Why is Thomas excelling in these and not the competition?
Well, Thomas offers many different characteristics that our competitors do not. So we have different motor options available. We're able to assist with testing. So customers have came to us in the past and wanted us to work with them for reliability testing or mean time to failure testing specifically on components versus the full system. So we're able to help pick a solution for a customer. We can fine-tune our components to make sure that we are providing the best solution. Oh, and just to point out too, with these, in a negative pressure wound therapy device, these devices are considered disposable, so we're also able to work with customers to provide a cost-effective solution that could be considered disposable. Lastly, for the different home therapy options, we want to touch base on deep vein thrombosis. So this therapy can occur in a hospital, a clinic setting, or in a home environment. And deep vein thrombosis promotes blood flow by actively inflating and deflating compression sleeves. And then these are used to prevent blood clots to the extremities post-surgery. And it's important to note on these. Yeah, sorry, Andrew.
Oh, no problem. I was just going to say, I see that in these devices, our pumps are nicely nestled inside of them. Hard to see. Can you tell us which pumps are actually being used in these applications?
Yeah, so we've been successful in the past with G-series rotary vein pumps. Rotary vein technology can offer smooth flow and low pulsation and vibration. And that's really critical with a therapy like this, where the compression sleeve is it's directly attached, to a patient's their skin or to their clothing. So you want low pulsation to have the steady flow. So we can see diaphragm pumps used as well, like the 1410 or 20 series. And basically, we are considering a pump that's able to provide both vacuum and pressure, so you can inflate and deflate actively. And so it's depending on the flow rates required, whether it be a rotary vein pump or a diaphragm pump. But each do provide low power consumption and sound levels.
So thanks, Britt, for walking us through the patient's journey. As everybody can see, our 5 brands within the medical group are heavily used from the day that our patient goes to the hospital all the way until he gets to go home. Our Thomas, Tricontinent, Welch, Zinser, and ILS are used every step of the way. So after we were able to go through all of those, I just wanted to remind everybody, as you may have questions, please go ahead and send them in through the Q&A section of our presentation. And as those are coming in, I just wanted to remind everybody as well that we dove deep into the medical and laboratory segments that we design into, but our products are used all over the place, from environmental, industrial, food and beverage, printing, aircrafts, and all kinds of other new technologies. We've been in gas analyzers and vacuum handling. We've been in beverage dispensing as well as coffee machines. Inkjet printing has been huge for us with our liquid diaphragm pumps, and there's many other opportunities that we can't even begin to list today. So at this point, we'll give everybody a couple minutes to send in questions if you had any. I know there was a lot that came through today, a lot to digest. We'll definitely be sending out our emails and contact information, so please feel free to send them in at any time. It looks like our first question came in. Britt, they're asking about customizations. What can we do to customize our pumps? Yeah, there's a lot of availability for customizations. So for instance, with our liquid diaphragm pumps, we're able to work to provide a different material to be UV resistant. We have different elastomers that are available depending on which media you're pumping. Typically, we offer PTFE, EPDM, FKM options. We can also offer different motor availabilities, both brush DC, brushless DC, AC motors as well. It's really dependent on what the customer requires. If they require a custom cabling harness, depending on the volumes, that's something, again, that we can look into. And we also are able to provide testing that's going to validate any, customized configurations that a customer may receive. All right, and then let's give a couple more seconds and see if there's any more questions out there. There's a question here about testing. Can you touch base on testing that we're covering, tests for different standardizations and things like that?
Yeah, so we can work with a customer to understand, firstly, just the initial performance. We can work to try to find out any limitations as far as with a customized version, can it restart at a certain pressure or vacuum level? We can also test motor performance, motor life, elastomers individually or with our large pump linear diaphragm pumps. We also do elastomer testing, but it's as a assembly, and then that can occur in our facility in Germany. So we do a lot of mean time to failure testing. We can do initial screening for shorter durations. It's really dependent on what the customer is requiring. If we need testing at higher altitudes, we have an altitude chamber here. We have thermal chambers where we can test at different temperature ranges. And then we can also conduct, live testing for a customer at the different performance points too. And again, just to reiterate, I know I mentioned previously, but we do have, an agency testing laboratory, here in, Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
And another question came in, are the tricontinent product line customizable also?
Yeah, I do believe there are some, options for customization with the tricontinent line, but I can reach out to one of the strategic account managers to get more information and to relay that information too.
And I believe they do a lot of customizations to fit the customer's need as far as testing. They do a lot with different dispensing amounts as well as different configurations for those different syringes. And with our resources at ILS, we can go through and make sure we find the right fit for each customer. Well, Brett, I think that's all the questions we're going to get today. If anybody wanted to reach out to us directly, please feel free to email us with questions about future products, about any technical specifications. If we can't answer them, we can definitely get you in touch with the people who do know the answers. So thanks again to everybody who called in. Britt, if you had anything else?
No, thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the day and great summer.